Right, just gone 7:15 on this Wednesday morning. Let's now look at the 11 independent candidates that will be contesting in this year's national and provincial elections. The amended and revised electoral system is for the very first time allowing independent candidates to contest in the regional, province to national tier of the National Assembly and the Provincial Legislatures. As part of their promises, the candidates have made commitments to the electorate, including the nationalisation of the South African Reserve Bank, promotion of social cohesion, education reforms and creating employment. Well, to find out some of the independent candidates and to see what they stand for, let me introduce you to those that we have with us. Firstly, we've got Thanasagren Moodley, and he's joining us virtually this morning. But in studio, we've got Louis Liebenberg, Sesing Ramotswabodi, and Blessings Ramoba. So it's lovely to have those independent candidates with us. We'll chat to them in a short while. But before we do, let's take a quick look and see what they've been saying and what they stand for and what they say that their priorities are. So here's Blessings Ramoba. Blessings saying education for every citizen, job creation, healthcare for all, border security and national sovereignty, crime prevention and law enforcement. All right, that's Blessings. Let's have a look at Louis Liebenberg. Louis is there saying, mines in the hands of the ordinary South African citizens, the Reserve Bank must be nationalised, our own identity, language and culture preserved, borders protected and illegal immigrants deported, and farm workers are protected. So some of the priorities for Louis. Let's have a look there at Sesing. Sesing saying youth unemployment, collapse of public health, empowers small businesses, collapse of local government, illegal foreigners in townships. So these are the priorities he's going to deal with. And then finally, Thanasagren saying that he is going to address the concerns of the Indian community, be a voice for the voiceless and hopeless, promote social cohesion in the province, advocate for good, clean governance, and challenge current status quos where necessary. All right, so those are some of the key points that we've been hearing these independent candidates speak about over the last couple of weeks and heading up to the elections. But I suppose it's been a roller coaster of a ride to see whether or not they could contest or couldn't, and then if they get the vote to participate. Well, they've done all of that. They've been victorious, but how victorious will they be in the polls? Gentlemen, again, welcome. It's so good to have all of you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And it must be a good feeling to be a part of history, because this is a moment in history that we're all experiencing here. And, you know, for South Africans to have the ability to vote for an independent candidate is a big moment. So, Louis, let me begin with you. Perhaps you want to reflect on that and also just give us your opening comments in terms of what a vote for Louis means and where you will be contesting. That's important.
I think the most important thing for us at this stage is to be positive. All of us. We've had all the reason the past 30 odd years and even before not to be positive. And if we can't tackle this politics, I'm not a politician, I'm a business person, so I approach it from that angle. And you don't go into business if you think you're going to fail. I go into this candidacy to win. I back myself. I don't believe in another party and everything they say. I'd rather say it by myself and then see whether people agree with me and whether I can get the backing. But I intend to win. I intend to get a seat.
Where will we find your face, Louis? Which ballot papers you running for?
Well, at the moment I've got a bit of a dispute with them because in Gauteng and Free State I am, and Limpopo and Mpumalanga we're fighting a bit because some of our signatures were not allocated correctly according to the system. It should have been allocated to the correct province. It wasn't, and I'm in the electoral court, but doesn't matter. Yeah. We'll see what that happens and take whatever it comes.
Okay, so still under dispute, but definitely yes. For now,
Gauteng and Free State.
And Free State, okay.
That's right.
Good. Louis, we'll talk more, but that's Louis Liebenberg. Let's have a look at Sesing and chat to you and your hopes, your expectations. Talk to us about what you stand for, what a vote for you means.
Look, thank you for the opportunity. I think a vote for us means accountability.
When you say us, talk to me about us, because and I think most of South Africa's impressions is an independent candidate. Yeah. It's you. You're the person they're voting for.
Yeah, but remember, an independent candidate is a member of society. you represent a certain portion of people that have challenges with the people that are in charge at the moment. So a vote for me is not necessarily a vote for me, it's a vote for us and the people I represent.
Okay.
So it's a vote for accountability, it's a vote for change, it's a vote for a desire to bring change and better the lives of our people. You look at the way our people live versus the way they're supposed to be living. And I'm using the versus specifically because of what policy says, right? Or what's supposed to be available on a daily basis, right? So that's what I stand for. We stand for changing the lives of young people in the Free State. We stand for taking back the township economy. We stand for cleaning our municipalities where basic services are not there. You know, something as basic as not having water. It never made sense to me when people said, and this is not even far from where I'm from. I'm from Metsimahole in Sasolburg in the Free State. Less than 50 k's away is a small town called Parais, right, Tumahole. When people said there is no water in Parais, it made no sense to me because sometimes with Sasolburg you'll have like a little, you know, there'll be low pressure, right? But it's not bad because there's still water. But when you go to Parais and you literally open the tap and nothing comes out, that is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And you wonder, you're like, okay, you know, maybe for a day, the municipality, there'll be challenges, they're changing pipes, whatever. You go to the toilets, it really smells bad. You know, how do you wash your clothes? How do you cook? How do you do all these things? But these are challenges where, for example, in COJ, you deal with that stuff in a day or two, then it's fine, it's gone, then it's taken care of. But with these people, it's like that every single day, without fail. A water truck comes, you know, from the municipality. You can't take as much water as you need simply because you have to be considerate of your neighbors as well, right? And then after that, you know, if you still don't have enough water, you have to go buy water. Now imagine with the rate of unemployment, the rate of little opportunities that are available. Sometimes people have to choose between buying bread today or buying water. You can't put people in such a situation.
Yeah.
It's unbearable. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And what frustrates me the most is that our leaders know these things because, you know, for example, when the Auditor General goes and presents the audit outcomes of different municipalities, they present it to the Provincial Legislature. So the people that we voted for know this information. They sit with it, and they hope people like myself and other citizens do not actually read that information and question them about it. Okay. How do you, as a senior leader of government, right, walk into someone's house with a straight face during a door-to-door and ask them to vote for you when there's no water, when there's unemployment, when people are hungry, when there's 896 infants dying at Free State hospitals every single year? It's insane. Door-to-door is meant to be walking in there and giving feedback and said, remember I was here 5 years ago and this is what I asked you to do for me.
Indeed.
Yeah. And this
so
is what we've done.
It's actually having tangible results which you are not
100%.
seeing and the communities you know. Just quickly, you haven't told us where are you contesting? Obviously the Free State.
I'm contesting in the Free State. I'm from an industrial town called Sasolburg.
Okay.
In Metsimahole local municipality.
Right, good. So look out for Sesing.
100%.
Free State, that's where you'll find him. All right, let's go now. We've got Blessing. Blessing, I'm going to give you the same. Tell us, you know, what it is a vote for you stands for and, of course, where you are going to be contesting as an independent.
Okay. Good morning to you and to your viewers. My name is Blessing Ramoba, and I'll be contesting in the province of Limpopo and Gauteng. Those are two provinces that I'm going to be appearing on the ballot. And if you can ask to say who's Blessing, I represent young and old South Africans who are currently unemployed. I'm very passionate about the issue of, you know, employment and development of our young people. We currently have about 7.8 million of our people who are currently unemployed, and many of them, they are suffering. So I actually came forward as an independent candidate to actually, you know, voice out the issues of those constituencies that are currently unemployed and those who are currently, you know, in business but without funding. There are many things that which I'm championing for, as you have mentioned there. But one which is on top of my agenda is the issue of of dealing with unemployment in the country, and how are we going to be achieving that? Look at the issue of load shedding. We have lost a lot of jobs through retrenchments, many companies are leaving South Africa because it's very difficult to do business in this country without power source, stable power source. And we've seen the ANC, the ANC coming up with a policy of dismantling and destroying all those old power stations, coal power stations, and ushering in the renewables. That itself, I think that is a disaster. Why? Because you cannot industrialize as a country only with the renewables. No country in the world has ever industrialized with the renewables. So we still need a mixed energy. And that's one of the things that which I champion for. To say, let's have a nuclear power in the country. Let's revive our coal plants and make sure that, we increase the life of those, power stations. I'm in the mining sector myself, and I know how much coal we have. We've got abundant coal resource in the country that can take us to another 50 years in the country. So we need to actually use that to our benefits. While we are busy closing down our power stations, our coal power stations, the demand of coal in Europe is actually increasing. And what I'm saying is that we need to wake up and, we understand the issue of environment, but also we must do a mixed energy, bring in the renewable together with the current energy. But that's how you're going to start creating jobs.
All right.
Meaning that once you deal with the issue of the power, now we need to come in and talk about industrialization
Absolutely.
in the country.
I'm going to pause you there, trying to give each of you the same amount of time as we open up. But Blessing, I think, giving us what a real priority for you is, and that's the electricity, creating jobs, mining, getting there in terms of industrialization. Yeah. All right, let's move over now to Thanasagren, who is Thanasagren Moodley. I think Thanasagren is in he's out in KZN, if I'm guessing correctly. It's good to have you with us as well. So perhaps you can do the same. Tell us what you stand for, what it is that a vote for you means, and also you obviously are going to be on the KZN ballot.
Yeah, firstly, good morning. Thanks for having me. And it's Thanasagren, you got that right. Thanasagren Moodley is my full name. So that's on the ballot sheet. And let me just say that it's an absolute honor and a privilege and to be part of history. First of all, one of only 11 independent candidates, first time allowed in the national election. And I'm super proud to be the only independent in KZN. So to me, that's fantastic. And one of the reasons I decided to throw my hat in the ring is that I've been an activist for 15 to 20 years in my community, fighting the system from the outside. And the independent candidacy allows me an opportunity to try and effect change from the inside. So that's what and the beauty about independent candidacy is that I'm not aligned to any party. I don't have to toe any party line. I can speak my mind, what I want to speak. So that's what I'm very grateful for the independent candidacy. As you heard earlier on, one of my key areas is I want to focus on my electorate is the Indian community of South Africa, the 2% Indian population in this country. And I want to be a voice for that community, address the concerns of the Indian community. I'm very clear about that. A lot of people say I have a pro-Indian agenda, and that is absolutely correct. Because I feel from the word on the ground is that we are marginalized, sidelined, and discriminated against. Further on to that, as you can see, the social cohesion. Social cohesion, now for me, KZN politics is very different from national politics. And KZN politics has to do with the Indo-African relationships. And I feel that we have to do a lot to make sure the stability of the country, in my opinion, depends on the stability of KZN. And that has a lot to do with the Indo-African relationships. And I think many structures, political parties, other leaders are working on the divide and rule policy, trying to divide Indians, blacks in KZN. And I think social cohesion is something that I need to work hard on. Which brings me to the next point about that is a very racist narrative that is being spread throughout the years. Through the many years I've been in activism, a very racist narrative being spread about the Indian community, that we are a racist community, and that is something that serves to divide us there in KZN. And I need to, my mission is to debunk that myth. And this was further exemplified in the 2021 July unrest, when the focus shifted from the instigators of what was the biggest riot, most costly riot in our history, but it moved to Phoenix, as they say, and the Indian races there. So that myth needs to be debunked. And on a final point, before I close on this section here, is a lot of the people are focusing, candidates, parties are focusing on all the problems in this country. In my opinion, a lot of those problems, 60% of the problems can be fixed by employing the right people for the job.
Okay.
Employ on merit, and 60% of our problems will be solved.
All right, Thanasagren, thank you. So nice opening comments, gentlemen. Thank you very much. And of course, as always, we do get some questions coming in from the viewers, and we're going to pose them to you, find out some of your views on them. Now, just remember, this is about getting to know all of you, and this is giving you the chance, the voice, to go out and let South Africans know who you are as an independent candidate. When they see you there, they say, I remember them. They said this, and this convinced me that I think they deserve my vote. So listen closely to what they say. This may very well resonate with you. Let's take a quick break. We're going to bring up those questions afterwards so you can get to know these independent candidates more. Right, independent candidates joining us in studio. Louis Liebenberg, Sesing, Ramotswabodi, and Thanasagren Moodley and Blessing Ramoba are the independent candidates we've got with us today. Let's begin with Louis, and let's bring up viewers' questions now. And this one, Louis, is aimed very much so at the whole issue of, I don't know which one we're going to go with, but let's put it up first. This one. Okay, so Colin's talking. That's going to depend on how they present their vision and mandate to the masses. Only if they can shift away from coming up with too good to be true promises like those of the vultures of the government of the day, I think they will shock many people. So perhaps let's talk to that. You know, independent candidates going it alone, being too good to be true. Is it worth putting my vote there? Louis?
Yeah, I definitely think so. You know, people are very much disillusioned with issues like BEE, affirmative action, because they haven't seen the real results. I'm working in the Makwaland mostly of the time. I've got mates there in the Khoi and the Sun, and therefore I'm not standing in those areas. Come from a mining environment, taken over some of the old De Beers mines where they've really taken out only the best and then let our country down, as often happens in Africa. So I'm fighting for the rights of the ordinary person to get the mineral rights in the hands of them, so that they've got control. In Sundrift, in Kubus at the Orange River, we've got 95% unemployment in the towns because the beer, Transec and the bigger companies just left them in the lurch. So the towns are basically ghost towns. And I've been working there since 2004 and working specifically at this issue of BEE. Now, BEE, as it's implemented by the government, is a failed situation because we know of cadre deployment and so on. But I don't want to go into rhetoric that other people use. I look at what's happening on the ground. On the ground, people don't have food. They ask me in Port Nolloth, in Springbok, in Koingnas, they ask me, Mr. Liebenberg, do you have R2 for me? I used to be on the street for 9 months in the year 2000 and 2001 when my wife left me. Very emotional person, opera singer, that kind of thing. So, you know, I said to her, okay, when you leave me, you know, I'll sell everything and just bugger it up, wine, women, and song. And I did that. And ever since that, I had a re-look, but I could assimilate. I could work with outies, and I brought in 131 outies into my home later on and looked after them. And I really realized what the hearts of people are like when you're down and out. And this is where a lot of our South Africans currently are. We need to pick them up. And the only way to give them that is to give them hope. But you can't give them hope without reality. Yeah. And the reality is that we should get the 0.1% that had everything in this country, like the Oppenheimers. And therefore, I bought myself the most expensive racehorses to be able to sit next to Mrs. Oppenheimer and ask her, my young boy, what are you doing for a life? And I said, I'm in diamonds. And she said, my husband also had something to do with that. And that is the reality. Those people are not in touch.
Yeah, and but you feel that you are much more in touch.
Yes.
And you're able to resonate with people that have nothing. Okay.
I can go and sit with those people on the ground and relate to them.
And understand. Yes. Louis, I will come back to you. Let me get this from you now. Too good to be true as an independent candidate, all these promises, do you think you can do anything about that?
Definitely. I think what we have in South Africa is something that I've termed issues of common interest, right? We're all affected by bad service delivery. We're all affected by lack of water. We're all affected by collapsed municipalities, collapsed public health system. I mean, I'll make you an example. When you look at an issue of, say, kids, stories that have been in the news about kids eating biscuits, etc., and they dying in townships because of those townships that are owned by foreigners. In fact, that issue, it became such a huge issue in the country. But when you step back, when you take a couple of steps back, you realize that that's actually a local government issue in a sense that every single municipality in the country has a health official, a health inspector, whose job is to go to every single tuck shop, every single butchery, every single fast food place, and ensure that the food that's been cooked there, that's been served or sold to the public, is actually meets the required standards. Now, you have an issue like that where it's clearly a failure, where health officials have failed to do that, because if they had done their jobs, we wouldn't have an issues of where people are demonstrating in the township saying, we don't want these Pakistanians, we don't want these people that are selling goods that are not meeting the quality of standard they should be. 2 weeks ago, there was a story about a tuck shop, I think in the township as well, which was selling purified water, and the water was from a toilet. You know, it's literally a local government issue. But local government has collapsed. You have unemployed young people that are sitting at home who have degrees, certificates, diplomas. But because the young people have refused to associate with a particular organization, they get left out because of cadre deployment. Now, when people are appointed because of cadre deployment, they're there to do one thing, to serve the people that have appointed them to be there. And they forget about the people they need to be accountable to. Those people are not accountable to you and I. They're accountable to the people that have appointed them. I'll make you an example. In Metsimaholo, where I come from, there was an issue, I think it was sometime last year, where members of the public actually stood up and said, but, you know, it turns out that these owners of these spaza shops, because, you know, every time you address such issues, it sounds like we're xenophobic, and we're being labeled xenophobic. These foreign-owned tuck shops, right? They actually have municipal officials on the payroll. That's bad, that's sad. Now, who takes accountability when a little 5-year-old Thabo goes there and buys sweets and Thabo ends up in a hospital, right? We haven't even touched on the collapse of public health, because little Thabo will go to the hospital, they're going to get there, they're just going to be given Panado, and until, you know, whoever nurse is there to see them.
We'll try and talk more on public health now. I'm going to leave you there, just in interest of time. So, Sesing, that's you talking to some of yours. Blessing, I'm going to give you the same 2 minutes to talk to us about sort of the pipe dream and you know, independent candidates, too good to be true, some of these promises you make.
Look, this country has got a crisis, right? And we are looking for fresh, new ideas that must be proposed to deal with the challenges which we have in the country. We've got about 7.8 million people, as I said, who are unemployed or looking for employment. 18 million South Africans are dependent on grants out of 62 million people. If we are that society, it means that we're not a healthy society. So we need, you know, new ideas in terms of proposal like industrialization. We have got minerals in this country, right? We've got all these type of minerals that you can think about. One of the things that which I propose is industrialization. At least 50% of our minerals. I'm in the mining sector myself, right? I've been as a mining engineer in the mining sector, so I know this sector. I've been the president of the Mining Forum of South Africa for the past 10 years, engaging with the Department of Minerals, engaging them about implementation, you know, of 50% beneficiation of our minerals in this country. By so doing, we are opening up, you know, industries. We are opening up manufacturers. You know, we've got our minerals are the ones that create cars, right? In fact, what we are doing, we are sponsoring jobs elsewhere in the other part of the world, instead of us having to beneficiate and create product and also export some of those products in South Africa. That's how we are going to, you know, create jobs in South Africa. We need to challenge. We need to change how we are doing things. And I think also tax illicit outflows. You are speaking about the mining sector. We have got a lot of tax illicit outflows, money that which leaves this country unaccounted, meaning that mining companies, they don't give write reports. They will report that they produced this much, find that they produced more. And that money is unaccounted. That money is the one that which we can use to take our kids to schools and also improve our health sector and so on. But I can tell you, the policies that which we are coming with are implementable.
All right, good. Love it. Thank you. All right, we'll come back. We'll dig a bit deeper. But I'm going to ask again to the same point. Thanasagren, to you. Go for it.
I think the independent candidacy is the best thing for South African politics at the moment. You have too many old people running the regime for too long. And I think everyone there on the panel is bringing bright, fresh, new ideas, new faces to the panel, to the discussion, to the government, just like me. And especially to my electorate, I think me being an independent candidate, allowing me to speak, to be their voice at the highest level of government, especially in KZN, because I can directly address issues that affect my community. So I'm not hindered by party politics, not carrying a party mandate. For example, I can address the BE issue, I think which Mr. Liebenberg addressed as well. It's a failed policy. It's failed miserably, and it's affecting my community quite badly because we were supposed to be considered blacks according to the Constitution, but clearly under the BE current implementation, we are not. In terms of employment, we are being overlooked in terms of employment and promotion in any work situation. Indians, from what I gather, my history over the last 15 years, I've been overlooked. I mean, I can use the issue of a magistrate I met recently, 10 years as an acting magistrate. He's 10 years, and he's accepted his fate. He said he will never be promoted, and he knows the reason why. Let's look at medical school. Our students, Indian students, are discriminated against clearly because they have to get the highest points amongst all the other races to enter medical school. And even so, a quota system applies. Only 2 students at a time are accepted. Our history, we have a rich history in this country, but our history is denied. I mean, most importantly in our history, we had 2 major uprisings against the Indian community in 1949 and 1985. But this history is not written, it's not taught. And we got heroes in our community. I mean, if I ask anybody who knows about the Padavatan brothers, nobody knows about them. But the Padavatan brothers, I think it was 1971, they rescued 176 lives when the Amgeni River burst its banks, but they are forgotten. And then I spoke earlier about the racist narrative that continues to permeate our community and affect us as a whole. It needs to be debunked. And the biggest thing I've been said again, and I want to work towards, is social cohesion. As an independent candidate, I have my own ideas. I have a strategy that I have in place. I know what happens on the ground. I know how to engage with the communities. And I think I'm going to do a lot more as an independent candidate than being hooked up to a party. So yes, independent candidates have a major role to play.
Yeah, certainly they do. And you've really led us nicely into the next question, because this question is actually focusing in on BEE and quotas. So let's quickly put that up. We've taken that one down. This is the next one, but I know there was one focusing particularly on BEE and quotas. I don't know if I can ask you to bring that back up, team, just because I think that we've sort of started on that trajectory. I'd love to put that one up first before we address this one. So I don't know if anyone's listening to me, but okay, no, they want to take this one. Okay, Rasenga saying, we have many political formations in this country, and the simple reason for these is leadership squabbles and greed. We have countless political ideologies, and surely they can fit in any of the DA, et cetera, et cetera. You see all the parties that these party may partner. What do you think? Let me go. Start. Louis, you start first.
Leadership is very important. And I've been a leader all my life since very early on in school, university, and so on. And I must be honest with you, if I look at the leaders and even meet them in person, in court or wherever, it's a question that you don't actually have something to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm a practical person. I'm a mining person. I deal and feed people. 2,600 people I feed every day. I'm creating jobs for the Zamazamas. We've started with 300 recently. I've taken over the old De Beers in Amaqualand. And we've got a program to give work to 5,000 by the year 2027.
Are these South Africans? May I ask you?
Yes.
So this is South Africans.
Yes, we're struggling with Lesotho and Zimbabwe coming in. We needed those brothers to fight the fight. But now we've sort of left them in the lurch. Although we can understand that we must protect our borders, but we must realize that Africa helped Africa to free itself. And now we're sitting in a bit of a situation with Zimbabwe that's been really helping South Africans to fight this fight for the struggle for freedom. And now we have to get a Hitler in the Home Affairs to sort that out. But what I would like to say is we must do the stuff. I've started a radio so that people can hear what I'm saying about 2-3 years ago. Started poetry groups and writing groups. You must involve, support the arts. Those are the things that's very important, because in a society that's failing, normally those vulnerable people, like the old, the widow, and so on. So although we know that it's very nice to talk about abortions and violence against women and so on, if we get a society that understands where they are heading and they've got hope, those things, you will first look for the kingdom of God, and all those things will be added unto you. There's certain principles, and what I'm concentrating on is not the big issues that all the big other parties talk about. Let's go and clean the grass in front of your home. Let's make our beds. Let's get disciplined with our kids. Let's get education started so they can read for meaning, those things that everybody talks about, but go and do it practically. I go to the mine. I bring in the zamazamas. I show them how to work safely. And they've earned over 382,000 Rand last month. And I give them a basic of 350 Rand. And so I don't think that is the role of the state, to give people the 350 or 370. It is the role of business and the state working together. And we must become positive. I do not want the ANC to lose too far. We will have instability, and we will have an ANC that will not accept. I would love it if the ANC comes in at about 45%, and they are forced into a sensible coalition.
Okay.
As you know, I'm a friend of President Zuma's, and I'm very much for him in the areas that I'm not standing for. And the only reason is he's a people's person. I'm a people's person, and I think it's time for ordinary people to go and sit down with people without the hoobala, without the honors and the master's degrees and the doctor's degrees, and just become ein Mensch again, so that people can become believable.
All right. Sesing, your follow-on. I mean, surely there's a political party that you could join that has the same ideals you could help?
Look, at some point, I think many of us were part of a certain group or part of a certain organization. But at some point, the madness has to stop, because it's purely a leadership thing. When you have leaders that don't listen, when you have leaders that don't understand what their mandate is. I'll make you an example. You look at the small business, the Economic Development Department, the Free State, right? They owe service providers 1.5 billion Rand. And these figures on the National Treasury website, right? That's a total of 8,077 invoices, right? How does that make sense when you sit down and you have a chat with these people? Because as the MEC of small business, it's madness. You should be fighting every single department and saying, pay my people. It's madness, because you know how the economy works. You pay somebody, they pay services, they pay people. The economy spins, right? But you have people that are sitting in those positions that enjoy going up and down in blue lights every single day. And it's more about them than anything. How does it make sense that any caring leader in any province, you can gladly sit there and service providers are being owed 1.5 billion Rand? It makes no sense. So when you have the right people that understand why they are there, these things can be fixed. And this is where we come in, because we've sat in these meetings. They always set up these advisory committees, but nobody listens. You go there, all of us, I'm sure you've sat in many advisory committees, nobody listens. So what do? We can no longer be part of the circus. It's enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because what's unique also about the situation that we're in now, it's unique in the sense that it's about representation now. Because the people we voted for are no longer representing us. It's about them and those close to them. It's about taking the needs of everyday people and taking them up there and sitting in those committees in different legislatures or at national government, ensuring that the policies that are there are actually implemented. Because, our government probably has one of the best policies in the world. We've got a great constitution,
But it's the implementation.
But it's the implementation.
Yeah.
You know, just in close, when you even look at something as basic as the Auditor General report of any department, there's the number one factor that comes across every single report. It's maladministration. And that can only be done by people.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Sesing. Blessing. 2 minutes, go for it.
Okay. What I can tell South Africans is that independent candidates are the future. South Africans are tired of, of leaders who are imposed to them. Look at our current leaders. Some of them, they don't deserve to be there because they are not actually competent to actually lead our people. Look at what the ANC has done with cater deployment. Putting people who know nothing about running a government in key, positions of government. And, those people, the only thing that they did was to run down government. Look at our SOEs because of the policies of the ANC, because of, those people, we do not elect them, some of them, but they are chosen, they choose their friends, and their family members to go into those institutions and run them down. Like if you look right now, our SOEs are suffering, and that's because of maladministration and incompetence and so on. But what I'm saying is that the independent candidates in South Africa have got a future. And in future, South Africans are going to select. We're going to fight to make sure that South Africans must elect their own president. And that can only be done through policy. When we are there in parliament, when we are there in legislature, those are some of the issues that which we need to champion. We are tired of bogus leadership, of people who don't know what they are doing, people who are not even schooled. You understand? And and I think that's why we came forward to bring about, I spoke about fresh ideas and also, to revive our government, to bring about, service delivery of our people. I can tell you this, that, we've got about, graduates. Look at our education system currently. We've got graduates who are leaving university, and all of them, most of them today, they are sitting at home. A government, what's supposed to do is that a government is supposed to create a conducive environment for business. Okay. But business is not staying in South Africa. In fact, we see companies leaving because of maladministration in the country.
All right. Thanasagren, very quickly to you as well.
Very quickly, I get 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes.
2 minutes, go for it.
Look, one of the main reasons I went into independent candidacy, if you talk about leadership, was the fact that there was really no leadership. Those who were leaders, I tried to find, in fact, one of the reasons I went into independent was I tried to look for leadership. Those that were available really didn't meet this. I found that I was smarter than them, and I was a better leader than them, so I said, let me lead myself. And I think as independents, we offer, like the guy said, Blessing said, we offer fresh, new ideas. Those that are already in leadership are stuck in their own set ways. Leadership is not just about, there are people who have a lot of academic skills. They can code policy, they can code your stats, but leadership is different. To be able to lead, you must have all of these qualities and be able to be charismatic and smart and be able to actually get people to follow you. And that is true leadership. So I believe I have all those credentials. I may not be the smartest tool in the shed, but I certainly am emerging as a leader. And I think the independent candidacy, speaking to my audience, will see me as a leader that's promoting their agenda, looking after their interests, and they'll see me as that sort of a leader. And with the political parties at present, they have a mindset, they have a certain way of doing things, and the old terminology is you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So we are the new kids on the block. We are the game changers going into the new dawn. And well done to all the game changers on the panel.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck to all of you. Okay, so this is the end. I'm giving you 30 seconds each, and 30 seconds is very short, so please. Louis, perhaps you want to add into it you have a reputation. We all know that. It goes without saying. People see your face there, they think, oh, I'm not going to vote for this guy. Why should they? Quickly.
3 years ago, I set my mind on getting 5 billion rand to go and mine and trade in diamonds. I did it. Since 2004, I've been fighting for the rights of the Zamazamas. All my time I've been a leader. I started my first business at the age of 14. I've been very successful at business, and I've also failed at business. I've seen life, I'm experienced, I know what people need, and I'm going to give them what they want.
That's Louis. Go for it.
We need to break the 30-year cycle in order to change this country. You know, we need leaders that are accountable. We need people that have fresh ideas and people that are not being held by the chains of cadre deployment. The people that are deploying us are the people that are voting for us, and those are the only people we're accountable to. If we don't change our lives, don't vote for us. But we're not going to come here and make promises that you've heard for the past 30 years. We're here to make a change. We're here because we've heard your grievances. We know what the problems are, and we are part of you. We are the community.
All right, Sesing, blessing, quickly.
I represent the young people and the old people who are currently unemployed and suffering, living in poverty. I represent, change to make sure that we put our people back to work, to make sure that we find them employment. And that's what I'm championing for, and that's what I will fight for.
Fantastic. Thanasagren, from a comedian to a leader in KZN, tell us, why should we vote for you?
Of course, I'm a comedian to a leader, because we all know Mr. Zelensky went from a comedian and now he's the president of Ukraine and took on the Russian president. So to my people, to my electorate of Chatsworth, Phoenix, Tongaat, Verulam, Stanger, Potchefstroom, Peter Maritzburg, the last Indian voice we had in Parliament speaking our voice, speaking our issues, was the late Mr. Amichan Radbansi. He's no more gone. I'm here. I'm the new kid on the block. I'm the new tiger.
There you go. The new tiger. That's where we land this particular plane. Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck. We'll see these faces on the ballots. If they resonate with you, you know what you need to do.